Okay.
So when she begins to write her research questions, she has to include negatives and the positives, because this is what she has as part of her objective. You see, you can't write your research questions until you've finished your introduction. When you and the more you write in your introduction, is the more you're going to see your research. The more you're going to see what you're supposed to prove. You can't prove anything. What you're supposed to examine, etc. Anybody lost? Anybody want to comment on how she's going?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I thought she could have done a better job with the objectives. I feel it is not as emphatically stated as I think they could have been.
All right, I agree. But then when she comes to her research questions tell you exactly what you're trying to examine. So she will have to, when she reaches a research question, she will have to make more specific her research question. So right now, she's just giving you a broad objective. You have an idea of what she's trying to look at. So she's not, even though she hasn't, it needs more meat, but she still tell you what she's trying to look at. She's trying to look at the effects of children playing mass. What are the negative aspects of it? What are the positive aspects of it? And she already tell you that it helped her as a child. It helped her development. So right away, you have an idea of what she's looking at. She doesn't have enough meat, but the reader in Australia still understands what she wants to do. I would give her about 7. I would give her for that 7 out of 10. Because she put
Okay.
7 out of 10.
Okay.
Then she goes on to the significance. Meaning, there's a difference between the importance of a topic and the significance of a topic. There's a difference between the importance of a topic and the significance of a topic. Let's go on to significance.
Okay, significance. Children's mass has grown since the inception of the full-scale involvement of children in the carnival since 1976. Although it has been in existence since then, and many have hurdled it as an activity that benefits the children, I have noticed there is no extensive research that focuses on side topics. Cell topics. Therefore, this research would shed light on a topic that may have speculated. That many have speculated on, and it is, I can't see, hoped that it would help propel the children's mass movement to a new dimension, specifically including mass making and participation in the school. If it is in any way beneficial, if it is not, then producers of children's mass ought to learn from their mistake and from the reason why the mass is not a worthy event for children.
Question?
So the significance is the importance.
No, more than important. Significance is who will it benefit? Who will benefit from my research?
Will benefit.
Yeah. In other words, children playing mass, but she has seen. She said, notice there's no extensive research. Nobody is doing that. Nobody's researching this topic. And the mere fact that nobody is researching this topic, it means that her research is a very important one, because nobody has been researching why children should play mass. She has seen that already. That's a big point. That's a big plus for her, because nobody is doing that. So right away, this topic is very original. When you're doing a dissertation for a PhD, you have to have original work. So she's trying to tell you that people aren't doing this thing.
But Prof, what she put in red there at the end of the significance, that is, what is that, Anna? That is her. That is her. That is what her. That is her hypothesis. So that is what she find.
Oh, no, she has no hypothesis yet. She ain't come to that yet. She just
No.
tells you how significant this topic is. In other words, why am I doing this? I am doing this to help people who have not done research. I'm doing this for A, B, C, D. I'm doing this research because people will need this. Producers of churn mass will need to learn their mistakes. I am doing this and they will learn why this is a worthy event for children. That's what she's saying. Why am I doing this? How important it is so significant. It stands out. Significant means, look at significance as if you're in the sea and you see a big rock in the ocean to hold on, that makes it significant. High rock in the ocean, it focuses on a topic that people are not doing. So if you're doing a topic that nobody has done or nobody is doing, it makes that topic very significant. Significant means it's like a signpost then. You travel along the road and you see a sign, a big sign. Why do they put signs in the road while they drive in? To tell you, turn left, turn right, you're going around a corner. These are significant signs. If you don't have these signs when you're driving, if you're in Paris and you're driving, you can't drive in Paris if you can't read. And those signs will tell you, turn left, you're going down a hill, you're going up a hill, etc. Those are very important signs. They are significant. So that's what she's saying here. Nobody has done this topic, and therefore it makes it significant. Right away, you want to read this piece of work. You want to read it. Why? Because nobody has done it. And she's saying it should shed some light on a topic that many have speculated on. They only speculate, but they don't do it. And it will help them, it will lead them to a higher dimension now. They will see why children should do mass. Children should play mass.
Prof,
Yep.
let me just say something on that too, please,
Yeah.
by your leave. What I do when I try to explain to students that I supervise, what you should be looking at is usually the beneficiaries, and that helps because when you think of the beneficiaries, you think of who will benefit from the project and why it is done, and that is the significance, and that helps as well. And I tell them too that very often the recommendations would come out of the significance of the topic and the significance of the work, so that it's easy to link the two when you pull all together. Now, some of them have a very hard time distinguishing between the purpose and objective.
Yeah. The importance and significance.
Significance are two different things. So I tell them the purpose and objectives, just like what you just explained there, the objectives. Why am I doing this? What I want to get from this. But the significance then will be who will benefit from my work. I just thought I should add that. Yeah.
I mentioned to them last week that part of the significance, some people say, is the university. Some universities pay people to do research because some universities want that research within their university community. So you have to say, in 20 years' time, who is going to benefit from this work? Or in 10 years' time, all that makes it significant.
In our program, it's so very easy sometimes to find a beneficiary of the research because you can start with fellow researchers, people in Carnival Arts, the ministries, NCC. At least we have a basic beneficiary right there, and then you can move on and move out. Tourists.
This thing,
and in this case, it's children's mass, so that you could look at the band leaders, you could look at the different people.
20 years from now, who will want to read this thing?
The libraries.
Children, etc. They want to find out what happened in 2020, etc. In other words, 50 years from now, all of us will be dead, but in 2070, who will want to read this topic? Etc. Any questions, anybody, before we move on? Now, let me tell you something. Let me say one time, I didn't pull out this piece of work because it was outstanding. I just So let me look if I have on the record any paper, any introduction to our people. So I pull it out. But obviously, this paper, this introduction is not a 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 20, because as you yourself said, it missing a lot of meat. It had meat, but the bones showing. Need a little more, need a little more meat, you know. But still, she's given the guy in New Zealand a good idea.
Yes,
Why children mass is
it's
important.
important. Mhm.
And what is carnival, and what we do in Trinidad, etc. She could have given a little more meat on, say, why children play mass and how people play mass. She could have given them an idea of the bands. She could have given them a little more idea of the music, etc., etc.
Okay.
And I suppose when she comes to methodology and she might kind of say why the negative aspect, etc. I suppose.
Professor, you would say don't leave things
Out.
for later on, right? I mean,
Mhm.
don't have to refer someone to your methodology when it ought to have been concisely expressed in your introduction.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is this, and I hope Mr. Patrick will bear me out. Even if she write those things in her introduction, when she comes to methodology, she still have to mention it sometimes. I tell you why. Because she has to convince you, the reader, this is my method of researching and why. When she comes to methodology, so she may have to repeat certain things. Nothing wrong with that. In other words, sometimes when you come to methodology, she may have to go in, methodology has to be in detail. Let it give all aspects of how I am going to research this thing and why. So she still may have to go down in methodology and say, to find out this topic, I have to do A, B, C, D, D, F. I have to find the negative aspects, I have to do A, B, C, D. Because when you read it, I'm sure you're asking yourself right now, how will she find out the negative aspects? How will she find out the positive aspects? What she will do to find out those things? So that has to go under her methodology. And that's what I was telling Ms. Rose today, that whatever you do, your introduction must be good and must connect to your literature review,
Yes.
which must connect to your research question, which must connect to your methodology.
Methodology, yes.
All aspects of your research paper have to be connected. All. They must see a flow from point A to point B to point C. Point D.
Yes.
And if that flow isn't there, put it in. Make sure there's a flow. Make sure the reader understands everything. Put yourself in the shoes of the reader and say, I wonder if you understand what I'm doing and why. So, but your introduction is just to introduce the topic. But when you finish introducing the topic, the reader must know everything about the basics. You must know the basics of what your topic is all about, why you're doing it, how important it is, and what are the objectives. And I'm glad you put the Carnival 1948, because right away when you put that paper in 1948, the reader already see that children in 1948 was a problem. Children in 1940 was a problem. Today, you can't tell people don't bring their children in Carnival again. You can't tell people that. Children is part of Carnival now. So far it has grown. And yet look what they were saying in 1948. Don't allow your children on the street on Carnival except they are accompanied by you. Don't allow your children to follow Carnival bands. Now they're playing mass. In 48 they're saying, don't allow them to follow a band. Now them children have their own band. See how far we have come?
So, Professor, would you also say that she could have linked? So, in other words, so the information she presented in that clip for the newspaper clipping,
Yeah,
she could have related some of her writings back to it.
yes. She could have given some writing. She could have looked at some writing, what people have said. She could have given, if she were doing a dissertation especially, she should have looked and see what they're saying about children. And she could have, not so much Fitzpatrick, she could have given some citations about what people were saying about children. She could have given that. That's a strengthen a case. You know? She could have you'll get away with it in a master's, but in a dissertation, I'm sure you would have liked to see a nice article or a quote on what people were saying about children in bands. I am sure people in Tiny Body were saying, what children doing here, why they're doing here, children should be home in their bed, etc., etc., etc. That would make her case stronger.
Also, the climate that also heavily influenced by the church and that time as well too, Catholic Church.
Correct. The church, especially the Catholics, church was saying, there are no room for children.
Because Professor, I think they left out, it should have been 13. The 13th one should have been go to church every day.
It might be the place for children is church.
Yeah.
But it tells you how we have the advent of Carnival, the development of Carnival, and the change in attitude. That paper shows the change in attitude. And George Cabral, I don't know if he was the mayor at the time. So George Cabral, a big fat white man, he was the mayor. George Cabral. You have George Cabral shooting Woodbrook.
Professor, would you say then that the clipping was a good idea? Yes. However, if after you've read the introduction now, you may wonder what was the significance, because she didn't draw
reference to Trump.
Mm-hmm. She should have said why this clipping. She should have given the context for this clipping. She should have given a little more context that this clipping came about because the Carnival Improvement Committee in 1948, that committee was concerned with the development of Carnival and the role of children. To a large extent, religion played a big part in that committee. And to a large extent, people didn't see children in Carnival. Carnival was a big people, because you don't want to expose children to some of the nastiness that was seen on Carnival, especially after Jamet Carnival.
Right, so I was about to say that, because then you would end up getting into, because the context of this clip has to relate to the Jamet Carnival.
Yep.
And what they were trying to eliminate, and of course,
lovely.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're saying so she could have included a paragraph stating or identify what was the Jamet Carnival and why she's straying from that, or why she tends to take a different path, how they're trying to clean up. She could have a no.
She could have a paragraph on what is Jamet Carnival and how it led to them having this idea that they have no place in Carnival.
Okay.
And as what did they say?
Neil
just said that one of the reasons for that, we are seeing the after effects of Jamet Carnival.
Okay.
That's a very good point, Neil. That's a very good point. That means, Neil, you're thinking.
Only on a Monday, Professor. Only on a Monday.
But the man in Australia is studying that Jamet Carnival, right now. The man in Australia studying, why me not my Jamet Carnival, because she mentioned it. But she's telling me why children are important or why children are important. So he is more interested in why children play mass or not, you know. So that you can't fail her. She ain't giving you enough facts, but you can't fail her because she just gave the basics. But she could have put some more meat on the bone. Mrs. Patrick is saying something? I know you want to say something, Mrs. Patrick.
You're saying something to me, Prof?
I'm saying you want to add something to it?
Oh, about that. Yes, I totally agree with that link there. And I'm happy that we are having such interesting comments from our present cohort, because these are things when we get down, and I hope they remember, because when we get down to the actual writing, it's like we never teach this, Prof. Yeah. So I'm heartened to hear them being very interactive at this point in time and pointing out these things, because we always have issues when it comes to actually writing their thesis.
Correct.
To transpose all what we talked today into the final document.
Lovely.
And I want to just tell them that the methodology is one of the most important parts of the actual thesis, because it proves what you want to research.
Yep.
It can make you or it could break you. It could make your research a valid one or invalid. So we will have enough time to discuss
the road.
methodology when that time comes.
It paves the road.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Because if you don't do the methodology the right way, you could come out with wrong results. And we did touch on that when we actually did the quantitative. So there's enough time to deal with methodologies, just to introduce the reader, as Prof say, to what kind of work you intend to pursue and how you're going to do it, but no detail. The details you'll find out in time to come. That is it's very extensive. So Prof, over to you again.
And and thanks a lot, and thanks a lot. And if the way she wants to do this research, she could have given us a little paragraph. I hope she gives us a little paragraph telling us what approach she's going to make to do this topic. And if she talked about anybody who said anything about 1948, she would have to provide. She had to give a citation. If she mentioned anybody, any speech from 1948. Or any speech on 1881 and the David Carnival and what it did to the people, she would have to give us citations because she was not there. So if she said, David Carnival spoiled children, David Carnival gave children nastiness in their mind, she can't write that unless she give us citation. She has to say where she get that from and how she arrive at that. So citations are very important. Don't write things that you're not there. Don't put attitudes, etc. Don't put assumptions because you were not there. If you were not there, she would have to provide citations. So probably she have mentioned it probably because she can't find the citations. But if you're doing a dissertation, you have to find it because that's the difference between a master's thesis and a PhD thesis. PhD thesis means you have to tell all. Master's thesis means, all right, you understand the basics. You can pass.
Professor, I find with that language you say, I find your diminution my master's feeling now.
No.
Like you make me feel I had to do a doctorate now.
Diminishing your master's thesis so they learn to do a good PhD thesis. Your master's thesis, for most people, is your introduction to your PhD. And that is why some people do the same topic for their PhDs. If you go to Harvard, I always say that, and Mr. Patrick, I always say that. If you go to Oxford, if you go to the top universities, they tell you, you don't start your PhD at PhD. You start your PhD at master's. In fact, you start your PhD as your undergrad. That's where you start your PhD. Your master's thesis is your introduction to your PhD. That's why do a good introduction. It's going to last until your PhD. You don't have to do that over again. You may have to add here a little point here and there. But good researchers tell you to do your PhD, do a good master's, and leave your master's to introduce your PhD. I think we can go ahead.
Okay.
Here we are.
Yeah, the share screen again.
Just give us a screen, Mr. Christian. We lost the screen.
We're going on to the other paper, or we?
Well, no, I think there's another paragraph there, yes?
Yes, we have another paragraph.
I lost it by mistake. I'll bring it back up.
Alicia, you have the document?
I kind of printed, but for some reason it's not in line. Something is missing from it.
Kristen sent you the document?
Which document? Dr. Liverpool sent us the document.
Okay. I said what?
UTT email, he sent us the documents, not me.
I sent the document for this. I sent the beach paper.
The beach.
But you were supposed to provide your paper. But let's finish off this paper first now. There's a little paragraph we haven't finished yet.
Yeah, let me find
There's a
it.
paragraph on your beach paper. Yeah, we have a paragraph still. I'm sure of that.
Yes, 1 second.
We have what we're doing here is learning from other people. Yeah?
Yes.
Learning from other people.
While we look, anybody can probably say something. No? Okay, so there it is.
Say something, Mrs. Fitzpatrick.
Okay, this is up again. So
I think that's it.
After significance, we have a paragraph down here. No, here.
After the reading?
Are you seeing my arrow?
No.
Is my arrow seeing? Is my arrow?
You wouldn't
I think after Dr. Liverpool, after the Reddit, there's no other paragraph.
There's nothing
No.
that?
No.
Oh, wow, that's the way. Well, then, what is she
This is the
missing?
last thing we have on the page.
Yeah.
Well, therefore, something wrong. We have to mark her down. What is she missing? What is she missing?
Um,
Come on, man. What is she missing?
The citation.
A conclusion?
In the conclusion, she gave the important signal. She should have been given, she should be telling us sometimes, she could give us some idea. She could be giving us some idea of her approach.
oh.
And her sampling. Her approach. How will you do this topic? What is it, a quantitative approach? Is it a qualitative approach? When you come out next week, is it a case study? Is it whatever she's doing? How are you going to do this thing? Where this thing is going to be done? Are you going to use a sample? Are you going to use whatever you're going to do? She should tell us a broad idea, not detail, but a broad idea.
Professor,
how she'll how she'll approach this topic. Yes, go ahead.
Is that the part that's missing? Because is that any part that's missing, or you're saying that should be in the significance, or that should be in the
after the significance,
right.
The significance, or even before, after the significance, she could have given us that I am going to look at this topic in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to look at it in St. Joseph, Port of Spain, and I'm going to use a quantitative approach or qualitative approach. I'm going to use source sampling method. She could have given us, she's not bound to, because she has to give us detail in the methodology, but she could have given us an idea of how she planned to approach this topic. That will round it off nicely. How she plans to approach this topic. She could have given us an idea. Mrs. Patrick, do you think so?
Sorry, because I joined late, I think I missed the early part. Did she mention anything like that in the early part?
No, she did not.
No.
When she did her objectives, right?
Yeah.
She was still good, eh? I would say satisfactory.
Go up a little more, Kristen.
I like her language. I like her language in the sense that she wasn't overwhelming. It kind of linked from one to the other, but it needed a little bit more meat on the bone, as Dr. Liverpool said. You know?
Let's give us the basics. I should tell you that she ended up with a job with the President Minister of Culture.
Wow.
She became his researcher. She became his researcher.
Government Tuition Expenses Program, a revolutionary program of the PNM, launched in 2004.
Somebody had any budget. Somebody would give me a budget.
I am.
But she explained us. I like how she explained briefly Carnival.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. Which year she was, Prof?
Oh, yes, she was, boy. Anisha
It had
Beach.
to be before I started to teach.
No. She was after.
Free
You,
drivers.
No, to teach. I don't.
Yes,
I
before you started to teach, yes.
although I am teaching
Twice per year.
a little while now, you know, Prof. Time
Yes,
to time.
yeah.
Very important, sir.
Pensioners upon
She
retirement.
was before you.
Five.
A little fair-skinned girl from San Fernando, Anisha Beach.
Two. As taxpayers earning 6,000 per month or less.
All right.
No longer.
Well then, anybody want to add anything before we leave? Anybody want to add anything before we leave? As anybody want to say what I have learned from this? Anybody want to say I've learned A, B, C, D?
So
If I'm wondering, is there a reason why you put this section here in red?
No, I think that is something she added on.
colonial life.
Okay.
I think that's something that she added on, or probably her supervisor must have added on that.
Because this is not a properly, because she have ellipses at the end, or that is just an accident in that.
Now she has to put, after this, she has to put her references. She gave us in-text references, in-text citations, but at the end of it all, she has to give the full references for her works. She didn't give much, she didn't give many, and that's a letdown, you know. She could have given us some more references. As I said, she could have looked for what people were saying about carnivals in the past with children. She could have looked for some reference on what people were talking about, how children should be looked upon in carnivals. She could have given us one of those.
So Professor, what you're saying is that she should have underpinned it with
some more with some strength, meaning strength on what did people say? What did other people say about carnival in Trinidad or children playing mass? How did people look at children playing mass in the 40s? Give me some quotes, some people. They may not have talked about children, they may have talked about carnival generally. I'm sure somewhere there would have been people saying, why are children playing mass? I'm sure of that somewhere in the 40s. And when it started in the 70s, I'm sure there would have been people saying, this thing they call carnival, it ain't good for children. And I'm sure if she might have get a quote from Rosalind Gabriel, because you can't just come out just one and bring a band and play children mass. I'm sure Rosalind Gabriel would have something to say. Listen, when I started carnival in 1950 or 52, you know, I got trouble, you know, etc. So somewhere she could have given us a little quotation.
Prof, what was the thesis topic?
The impacts of mass. Look and talk again. The impacts of mass on children. The impact of playing mass on children.
The impact of playing.
I don't know why if on is a good word or with children, but or the impact of children playing mass. That's what you mean. The impact of playing mass.
You know, I was just tracking back because I was trying to figure out who it was, and I realized I've been in the academy since 2015. 5 years already. Yeah, it's amazing how time flies.
Time flies. Time flies. Time flies.
Time flies. 2015.
What I will give this a good. I won't give this a very good mark. I will give this a good mark. I will give this a mark way above satisfactory and good, between satisfactory and good, because the reader gets the basics. So I will if I have to judge this, I'm sure I'll give it a little more than a satisfactory mark. She gave us the basics. She could have given us more meat, and therefore I'll put this between 7 and 8, 7.5 out of 10.
Prof, I don't know. I don't know if we have started it as yet, but I think there's need right now for us to start putting together a listing of the theses that were done from the time we started the program.
We have all of them. We have all of them.
Yeah, but is it documented anywhere? I mean, apart from the library having them, but like somewhere within our academy.
Yeah, the library don't have much. The library don't have all of it.
We have all.
Even the names, not necessarily the documents, and but the names, the titles. Yeah.
We have all the names, and Christian, we have all the names, and we have all the documents. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
That's available on one of the part of the UPT portal. You have the names of
all of them.
all the
Yeah,
all the teachers that did it.
all the teachers.
lovely. Yeah. Because so very often people ask, well, who did anything on this or that, and so we can refer them to exactly where.
The present students can go and look at them
Mhm.
and come in and look at them and see all the teachers written, and you can even get quotes from them. You may want to make a quote from them. You can't carry them home. You may want to make a quote from them, etc. Your own paper. If it links with your paper, there's nothing wrong with quoting from their paper. There's nothing wrong in quoting from their paper. That's what researchers do. Researchers quote from researchers.
And it's interesting, Prof, it's interesting. Prof, it's interesting that you should say this because currently, and this is to let the students know how far and wide that their work can reach. Currently, a French magazine, I think it is, or journal, whatever, is trying to get a hold of my daughter who did her master's on naming, that whole African naming thing, not even her PhD. So her master's thesis is having a lot of hits. So now she's trying to figure out if the translation will be French, English, or whatever. I guess it will be in French. So these are the things that you will have to look out for because the diaspora is far and wide. And this is a French journal now. So you see how far your work can reach?
I wrote an article last month called The Development of Music Education in Trinidad, developed for the Cambridge University. The development of music education in Trinidad and Tobago, I wrote it for Cambridge University. And they write me back about 2 weeks ago and tell me, yeah, Dr. Liverpool, thank you very much for your article, etc., etc. We want to publish it, but we'll have to go through it, etc., because this article has been published already. I said, my article? Yeah. I said, published. I said, tell me where it has been published and where and when. They can't prove that, but I know what happened. Sometimes people use and quoting it. People use it somewhere and quote it in their work. And they're telling me, I published it already. I said, no, I have never published it. So I said, I told them, just send back my article for me. That's well. Because they can't tell me, I write my own article. But sometimes people refer to your article and they don't know. They want to say, they can't prove. Somebody could have used it in some quotation somewhere or refer to it somewhere, That's why you have to have good citations. But I have never published that article, never. And even if I publish it, I could have added to it and changed it, etc. Okay, then. I want to go on to Miss Rose's paper now. What time we have?
Oh God. They're making me nervous now.
No.
What are we learning?
Of course, you should be nervous.
You get the paper to Joseph, yes. The role of fashion design in the Carnival Masquerade in Trinidad and Tobago. A review of Peter Minshall's Mass Trilogy. The role of fashion design in the Carnival Masquerade. You want to explain your topic? You want to explain? Don't let me explain.
What I was looking at is, as a fashion technical expert, I was looking at really to find out if there's fashion in the carnival, what aspect of it, what role has fashion played in the designs in the Carnival Masquerade in Trinidad and Tobago. And my review is a review of Peter Minshall's really first Mass Trilogy, which we are speaking from 1983 to 1985. We are looking at River Callaloo and the Golden Calabash, but my specific will be on the river and how it has an influence.
Mrs. Rose,
yes.
I am in New Zealand.
Yes.
I do nothing about Callaloo, and I know nothing about river coming down.
Yes. I understand.
So that you have, I hope everybody listening. So you have to explain to me in New Zealand what you mean by, I hope everybody watching the topic, she has to explain us in the introduction what she means by fashion design. what she means by a carnival masquerade, what she means by Trinidad and Tobago, what she means by Peter Minshall, and what she means by Peter Minshall's mass trilogy. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
In other words, that's why I tell students, write your theme loud and big and bold on the top of your introduction. Why? Because the reader is going to look at it while you're reading your work, he's going to look at your theme. Because your theme means that you have to tell me what you mean by the abstract nouns or pronouns, whatever it is, in your theme. So when I look at your paper, I want to know what is fashion design, what you mean by rule, what is carnival? I didn't know it's carnival. First time I heard the word carnival. First time I heard the word masquerade. First time I seen Trinidad and Tobago. First time I seen Peter Minshall. What is Peter Minshall? Is Peter Minshall a bucket? And first time I seen mass trilogy. I don't know what is mass trilogy. Mass trilogy could be something that Trump make in New York. I don't know. So you have to explain us these things. Any question, anybody?
No, we're waiting for Alicia.
You're waiting on me? Well, I can say I don't fail already because some of the things I've been put, but it's a learning process. Yeah. So should I start reading?
But before you run, before you start, Alicia,
yes.
Are we wrong?
No, you're right. You're correct.
Right.
You're correct. Yeah. Because we have to identify the areas like what is fashion designing, carnival, masquerade, Trinidad and Tobago.
She does not write any books. But we have to understand what she means by those things. So bear in mind those things, okay? All right. Go ahead and Alicia.
Introduction to role of fashion designs in the Carnival Masquerade in Trinidad and Tobago. A review of Peter Minshall trilogy will be conducted from the perspective of fashion designer. This study is new in that to date there is no current study done on this topic of Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. Thus, my research will introduce a range of information obtained from the fashion and costume design books, journals, lectures, DVDs, and articles from newspaper and the internet. The review will also include primary data gathered from face-to-face interviews and experience gained as an intern in a mass camp.
Something missing there? Something missing there?
Yeah, the whole introduction missing in the sense.
Something missing there. Thus, my research will something into, I do not even know.
Thus, my research will, oh, right. I understand. I see it there.
Yeah.
The old one will have it.
Something missing there.
Okay.
Everybody understand that? Some word.
My research will introduce.
Oh, all right. All right. Anybody want to say anything?
Well,
now she ain't going to start that way, but she started that way. She telling you what her research, how she'll get information, etc. And the other, she's given us an idea of her methodology, which is basic, but she hasn't got to go into detail, but she's given us an idea of how she planned to do this topic, okay? That's all she's given us there, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. She's given us an idea of how she plans. I shouldn't be saying that. I should let you all say that.
So you have to.
Don't go on yet. Any questions before we start?
No, not so far.
Not so far.
So I need to ask a question for myself.
Yes.
Does all research have to start with the introduction of where Trinidad is, who is Trinidad?
No.
Okay.
It depends upon your topic.
Okay. I just want to be clear on that.
In your topic, you must explain something about Trinidad, because here what you say your topic is the role of fashion design in the Carnival Masquerade in Barbados.
In Trinidad, right.
Something about this thing.
Yes.
It could be Lapuha, it could be in Kayaku Carnival, different from Trial Carnival,
Yeah.
And London Carnival different. So you have to tell me something about Trinidad and Tobago and Carnival Masquerade. You have to tell me something, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, I understand now. Okay.
Let's have a quick question that the I haven't seen the years so when Peter mentioned portrayed this trilogy.
Right.
I think that would have been kind of important to have the context of, you know, when he was doing that and, you know, what would have been the environment of those times.
All right.
Mhm.
And,
Yes.
but it's not, Richard, me and which trilogy? What trilogy mean?
Well, I just
Professor,
remember the mask, but then, yeah, that's another point too that you have to tell us
Yeah,
that.
Yes.
okay.
Period.
Yes, Mrs. Patrick.
would it, so
Go ahead.
Go ahead, she have plenty to tell us. Go ahead.
would it be safe to say that the writer makes assumptions that the reader will know particular things based
And that
on,
is right. And that is why you say you have to introduce it as you're speaking to the man in Australia.
All right. Let me interject a little bit. I just glanced my eye a little way down, and I think the things that we are asking for from a list here, I
It's a lower down.
believe that say again. I
know,
believe
I
that
know-
she has done some of it.
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to earlier, but I am seeing it there. She did say, and she has where she would have had pictures and all that. So
Yes,
the names of the 3 mass bands which make up this trilogy, and I would imagine
yes,
people know
yes.
trilogy is 3.
Don't
Trilogy can be 2.
hold on your time. I know that. I am just trying to alert them of what.
No. I'm not talking about you, Prof. I'm talking about Richard, who made the comment, and she did put it in. As to whether the ordering is what he's interested in, because you have to you can't, I mean, how many things you would put in the opening line. So she's building you up, and she says, hey, my thesis will explore the fashion design, and then she talk about the trilogy, the river, blah, 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 blah. What she has to probably say a little earlier on, maybe what Prof said about the Peter Minshall and the Trinidad and so on. But certainly if you want to talk about the trilogy and all that, she's done that.
All I'm saying, Mr. Patrick, is we as readers have an idea of what we expect to hear.
Yes.
That's all. We as readers, and the man in Australia as a reader, he's telling what I expect to hear from this introduction. And therefore, you have to put yourself in this as a writer. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the reader and say, this man, I have to explain so and so and so and so to this man.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My thesis will explore fashion design used in the costume design of Peter Minshall's trilogy. The name of the 3 mass band which makes up this trilogy are the River. I have pictures. 1, it's supposed to be 1, the River, 2, the Callaloo, and the Golden Calabash. Several articles have been written on the work of Minshall, or supposed to be Minshall's, and can be found in magazine, newspaper, and on the internet. Several lectures have been given by him, along with interviews, both national and international. In an article on the quality that makes Peter Minshall a renowned mass man, it was stated that his approach to mass has not always been in keeping with tradition. But that is what sets him apart and gives him his status as a pioneer. His portrayal of his first part of the trilogy in 1983 with River indeed sets him apart. The second of the trilogy was followed by presentation of the Callaloo in 1984 and accumulated in 1985 with the Golden Calabash, the last part of the trilogy.
Hold there. Comments.
well, linking back to what you said before, Professor, in that she doesn't give us enough background on Peter Minshall and the significance of Peter Minshall in Carnival.
She hasn't given us nothing about Carnival. I don't know what is Carnival up to now. I know what Peter Minshall doing. I know Peter Minshall makes no sense to me. In other words, unless you tell me Carnival and mass, then I could see Peter Minshall. Mrs. Patrick, unless you tell me this, where's this mass band? Why not 5 mass band? Unless you tell me that in Trinidad you have Carnival, and out of this Carnival have mass band, then you could tell me about Peter Minshall. Peter Minshall makes absolutely no sense to me. So you have to tell me first, what is this thing they call Carnival? in that carnival, what is have mass band, and out of that mass band, then you could tell me about Peter Minshall. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Trilogy makes absolutely no sense. River makes absolutely no sense to me. River could mean the Amazon River. I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that in Trinidad, people play masquerades, etc., etc. These masquerades are made by designers, etc., and they have bands that parade on the streets. One such mask maker is a man called Peter Minshall, and in so-and-so year, in 83 and so-and-so, he brought us a band called this, and he brought us a band that. Then I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go from carnival to mass dance, and then to Peter Minshall.
Right.
We are not criticizing you, Miss.
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. I'm not taking it that way at all.
I'm trying to show you. So for me to follow you, I have to go, I have to see Trinidad, masquerade, carnival, masquerade, mass band. Then tell me, in all this millie, we have a man called Peter Minshall. And in 83 and 84 and 85, he brought up a trilogy. That's why they call it trilogy. 3 years straight. He brought up a band with 3 parts, and he called it a trilogy. And the first band was called River. The second band was this, and third band was that. Then it makes sense.
Okay.
Anybody want to add? We are learning from our mistakes, and she learning from her mistakes.
Oh, yes.
She's teaching us.
Okay. So we go.
Anyway, anybody want that before? We sure we understand the point?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now you can move on.
Scroll down. What is next? Okay, so I show some photos, River.
Beautiful. And now that'll make sense now. If I know it's a mass band, what people call Carnival Day, then that makes sense. But if you say that, and I in New Zealand, I say, it was bad people. Then mad people walking the road. I don't know who's them. I know it's a mass band. I thought a river was. I thought a river was the Amazon. And after she do that, and you explain that, then Peter Minshall now would have made more sense. Okay. Now we know that Peter Minshall was a masquerader. You telling me that Peter Minshall born in Ghana and government Trinidad makes absolutely no sense to me. But if you tell me that Peter Minshall is a masquerader who brings out bands to carnival, and in 83, 84, 85 brought out this trilogy, etc., then who is Peter Minshall will now make sense. Am I making sense, everybody?
Yes. So it's an introductory too.
Good. And that's why you have to, it must flow. It must flow from point A to point B to point C. All right, go ahead, I'll tell you understanding.
Okay.
So we take it for granted that you already tell us. Mark and decided.
Yes, I'm marking.
We take it for granted that you have explained us briefly, very briefly, where Trinidad is, what is Trinidad Carnival, and what are mass bands and masquerades, and then having done that, now we come on to know who is this man.
Okay. Peter Minshall. Who is Peter Minshall? Peter Minshall was in Ticobes, born in Guyana, but grew up in Trinidad. He fell in love.
That's a big mistake.
Yes, that's a big, yes.
Peter Minshall
was born. Okay, Peter Minshall was born in Guyana, but grew up in Trinidad. He fell in love with Trinidad and its mass of the carnival. What he has accomplished over the years is incredible, since his form of expression, where I am, he fell in love with Trinidad mass of the carnival. What he has accomplished over the years is incredible, since his form of expression is mind-boggling.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Anybody want to say something?
Indescribable. Spell wrong. The sentence structure could have been better.
Hold on there. Anybody want to say something? We learning from our mistakes.
Yes.
What is wrong?
I did not describe what he has accomplished.
No, okay.
No?
How you know it is indescribable? How you know it?
That's assumption.
How you know it's mind-boggling? Who said that?
Oh, okay.
And that means if you don't have a citation there, to say somebody said that, then when you say there's, how you reach there? Citations mean you are making assumptions. If you want to go on and say the proof that it is inscribable and mind-boggling can be seen from a magazine, etc. When you make a point, say what he has accomplished over the years is indescribable. According to says who?
Right.
So citations mean that you cannot make assumptions unless you say where you get it from. What you could have said is, from my observation with Peter Minshall over the years, or having played with Peter Minshall over the years, or something like that, Mr. Patrick, then what I can say about him in so and so years, that is indescribable. But you have to tell me something, how you reach to that conclusion. I don't know how you reach there. And if you don't have citations, you can't write that. Hope you understand me, everybody. Are we understanding?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. In an article in the magazine Caribbean Beat, Minshall has claimed that he is not...
Caribbean Beat must be in. Caribbean Beat is an article, it must be underlined.
Underlined.
The name of a magazine. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry to
No. I am happy that you're doing this, sir, because it's the correct one. In an article in the magazine Caribbean Beat, which is supposed to be underlined, Minshall has claimed that he is not merely mass making costume. That should be in a quotation.
No, go ahead.
Right, underline. I provide a meaning for human bodies to express its energy. Mass is a vehicle for the expression of human energy. His mass is a hybrid art for the combined. Okay, I'm not citing too much.
Stop after energy. Stop after energy.
Okay.
After energy.
Full stop after energy.
Yeah, because you said that's a quote.
Quote, yes, because I have it in quotation marks.
And if it's a quote, then you have to do what?
Cite it.
For the I want to know. Sorry to stop you so often. Are we learning, everybody?
Yes, yeah, we learning.
I have to say where
I wish it was mine too.
Where did you get that from? What year and when he said that? And then he goes on to say his mass coat is a hybrid art form that combines the visual with performance. Where did he say that? When did he say that? How could I find it? No quotation. It means you're talking rum shop.
Rum shop.
All right.
Yes.
You're going very nice, but you have no quotations. And
okay. You need to pay more attention to that.
It makes no sense because you have no quotations.
Yes.
All right. Peter Minshall.
Peter Minshall is the pioneer of haute couture mass in Trinidad and Tobago. Carnival.
Yeah. Says
who? No, and that's why I should have said Peter Minshall can be considered.
All right. That wasn't. No,
okay. Can be considered the pioneer of haute couture mass in Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival.
To make it better, as a person who is in design, as a designer, it is my opinion that Peter Minshall can be considered to be so and so.
Nice.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. He is an innovator, not only as a designer, but can also be considered an innovator in design realization with the new forms of interpretations. His mission as a designer is to conceptualize mass as a high art.
And therefore you can say that that is your opinion.
Mhm.
You
This
can
is
say,
my opinion.
You can say, I have formed this opinion as a designer over the past 20 years, and I've come to the conclusion, very humble, that he is a designer and he's able to conceptualize mass as the higher art. If you want. But you can't write that in a thesis because you can't prove it. You can only write that if you prove that.
Yes.
And you haven't begun to research yet, and yet
No.
you make a conclusion. So you fail before you start.
Yes. Okay. Next, we have to scroll down.
Are everybody following us? Huh?
Yes.
Good. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Over the years, Winchell has proven over and over that designs an expression of various art forms. He brings the mass alive through the final product into reality, which tells a story. Peter is the sculptor of all sculpture, who has defined his mission and vision. He is magnificent in all areas of execution. As a visionary through the lens of a mass man, Michel has introduced the world to mass making from early age. He designs and produced masks for the Notting Hill Carnival in London. In 1974, he produced the costume Hummingbird for his adopted sister, who was the winning queen of the band at the Junior Carnival that year. I have a picture. In 1976, he was asked to produce the mass band Paradise Lost for veteran band leader Stefan Lehman.
Right. Anybody find anything wrong there? Anybody find anything wrong? Come on. Anybody find anything wrong?
Well, I think a lot of what Alicia writes, she writes as a fan of Peter Minshall and not so much as an academic.
Okay.
She has not, Neil,
So
she has not done the research as yet. She has not as yet done the research. How she know that over the years, Minshall has proven over and over that designs are expression of various art forms? How she know that? How she know he brings the mass alive to the final product into reality, which tells the story? How she know that? How she know he's a sculptor of all sculptors who has defined his mission and business? How she know that? How she know he is magnificent in all areas of execution? How you know that? How you know as a visionary through the lens of a mass man, he has introduced the world to mass making? How you know these things? You cannot make statements in research that you can't prove. When you prove those things at the end, you can make those statements, but you can't come and tell me in your introduction that this man has proven over and over that designs are an expression of various art form. If you tell me that in your introduction, that means you finished research already. So you have, if somebody said so, then you give the quotation.
Okay.
But you cannot write those things, Alicia, in a research paper unless somebody said that, or something moved you to say that, or something. And the only thing is, if as a designer, from your observation, you might get away with it, but you cannot say those things in a research. You can say he designed and produced mass of Notting Hill Carnival. Beautiful. You can say that. You know that. And even that might need a
citation. Yeah.
You can say in 74 he produced Hummingbird. We know that for his other sister. You can say he was asked to produce. You can say all these things because we know these things. But you cannot say that he's magnificent in all areas of execution. A rum shop man will say, talking, Tata. A minor rum shop will say, what Tata are you talking? Minshall is a so-and-so. The people will throw your work in the rubbish bin because you can't prove that. You can only write in your introduction things that are facts. And if there's not enough facts, you have to say where you get them from. So you haven't done the research yet. You know examining the man's mass. So you can't write and say that. You can say it if somebody said so. or if you have proof somewhere. Unless you have the proof, you can't make those statements. I hope everybody following and listening. Hope everybody understanding.
Yes.
I see Christian shaking his head. I hope Christian knows see anything. You can't write that. In other words, you fail before you start. And that is what supervisors are looking for. When a supervisor looks for your introduction, just introduce the thing. Don't come and say how he's a great man and he's a this man, because you haven't proven it.
Yes.
So those first four sentences they need citations.
Okay.
And if you don't have citations, you have to say how you reached that conclusion. And one of the ways some people get away with it is they say, I, Alicia Rose, I'm a designer, and I have been observing Peter Minshall's mask over the past 10 or 15 years. And I, as a designer, I may be wrong, I've come to the conclusion that Peter Minshall can be classified as a so-and-so, as a magnificent man, etc. But by the guts of Christ, I may be wrong. Making sense?
Yes.
But you cannot come out openly and say that because you haven't done the research. You now but you haven't write your research question yet and you reach that conclusion. You haven't write your research question yet and you reach the conclusion that he's magnificent in all areas of execution. Says who? They'll ask you, who said that? You're talking like a parliament, like a man from parliament. It's so parliamentarian and stuff. Everybody understanding? Everybody, I hope you understanding.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. See, how your wording is very, very important.
Important, yes. And the structure of the sentence also.
Conclusion. What she has to say in this part is Minshall playing master and so yeah. He makes so-and-so hummingbird. He makes so-and-so. He play master design. You can say all that about him. But you can't say how he's magnificent because you don't know what is magnificent for you is stupidness.
To somebody.
So Professor Liverpool, as Dr. Francis would have told us in our academic writing class, where is your evidence?
Where's your evidence? Right. Where's your evidence? Where's your proof that this man is magnificent? Maybe a magnificent so-and-so man, or magnificent to other people, but not I don't know. I don't. So if I do like Peter Minshall, when time I begin to read that, I throw your thesis in the garbage. You can't prove that to me. And that's what makes it. That's why I tell you, research has to be scientific. If it is not scientific, it is not research. Scientific means you have to prove your point before you write these things. You don't write those things unless you can prove your point, because you can only write those things when you finish your research and you come to a conclusion. If your research makes you feel that, then you can write it, but you can't write that in your introduction. It means, therefore, that before you start the research, you have already come to a conclusion. And I'm telling you, that a good researcher will tell you, they will fail you at the beginning. You don't want to fail at the beginning, you want to fail at the ending. All right. I'm glad I make you do this. I'm glad I make you do this.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Scroll down. Yes, so scroll down. So I just showed the hummingbird. Go down. Okay. Okay. Peter Minshall's trilogy. The Minshall trilogy is a story being told over 3 years in the streets of Port of Spain from 1983 to 1985. His story of Washerwoman reflects the symbol of life, joy, and trust. It's a picture. Whereas Mancraft represents the forces of greed and selfishness.
Stop. Anybody want a question now? Nobody want a question now?
That should be questioned.
The question is, where she get the idea? Where she get symbol of life, joy, and trust from? Where you get forces of greed and selfishness from? Where you get that from? Look, you put them in quotes. Those are quotes. Quotes mean you have to say where you get them from.
Also, the use of these single quotes and double quotes.
Yeah. And single quotes mean single quotes mean I'm using a quote within a quote. Those should be double quotes because those are quotes. You take them somewhere. You found them somewhere. And from the time you read the sentences, you know those are quotes. So you have to see where those quotes come from. Alicia.
Yes.
You cannot put them down there. You had to put it after that where the quote come from, page so and so, whoever it is. You see how important that introduction is?
Yes.
Very important. And if you can't pass introduction, you go on. Only when you finish your introduction, you could go on. That's why we say do a good introduction. But to me, it's the first time I'm seeing this. I don't know. To me, you change up this introduction. I don't know. Well, go ahead.
It showcases a form where man can represent a force of greed and selfishness. Right? It showcases a form of trilogy, technology, and man's inability to catch up to it. Always running away from society and itself, giving him characteristics to something technological. I should have a quote where I got that from.
I don't know where that from.
Right, so I need to have a quotation. I'm seeing it. This character was created by man and was unable to be controlled by its creature, reflecting God and his creation of human and the biblical story of man wanting to control God, ultimately leading to one's own destruction. Right. Citation and quotation. So I see where it's right. Citation.
All that have to be quoted. All that because
yes.
I don't know. Are these your words?
No, these are not all my words.
Those are not your words, and therefore you have to say how you arrive at all those things.
Okay, and it shows washerwoman.
Right. All that is good, but you have to see how you arrive at it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Continue. That's it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
I noticed on the picture before, you started the picture with my Noel Norton. This one you didn't say who it's by, was it? Are they
this
all
one, right. This one, when I sourced it, it was just a source out of the internet. It didn't state it who it was, who took it. So right now, I just got a book from someone loaned me, my daughter, my Noel Norton, and I'm about to go through it. Actually, I got it yesterday to see if that photo is one of the photos that he took. But when I sourced it from the internet, but I didn't have a specific.
If I get on internet, you have to say what part, you have to say what part of the internet and what the IRL or the URL is. You have to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question and Mrs. Fitzpatrick. Would you, if you're saying that you got this picture from Noel Norton, would you say the hummingbird by Noel Norton, or would you say, is there some way to say that the picture was by Noel Norton as opposed to saying hummingbird by Noel Norton?
It's wherever you find it, wherever she finds the picture, you can see where it's good from. She could say by Noel Norton, but you could say where she found this picture. So she has to say where she found the picture.
So if I found it like on Chrome or Google or whatever it is, I need to state where I found it.
Yeah,
the source and
say by Noel Norton, as seen by hummingbird by Noel Norton, as seen in page so and so.
So I guess my question is, does that give the impression that this costume is by Noel Norton as opposed to this picture is taken by Noel Norton?
Well, if it's a picture, you have to see the picture, but she has to see the photograph. Because Noel Norton didn't make this, you know.
No. So understand, so I should have said designed by Peter
Photographed by-
Minshall, photographed by Noel.
Well, not-
Okay.
You'll pay a lot, else you pay a lot of money in court.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Right? See, once you understand research, it's easy. When you don't understand it, it becomes difficult.
Yes.
Research means you cannot say things that you don't know. You cannot say things that you arrive at. You cannot make assumptions, etc. Unless you say where you get them from. You can't do those things in research. And you cannot arrive at conclusions before
the research is done. Okay. I can start now. Problem. This research paper focuses on identifying the role of fashion designs in the masquerade of Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago with reference to a review of Minshall's trilogy. This first trilogy began in 1983 with River and ended in 1985 with a Golden Calabash. The year 1984 saw the presentation of Kalaloo. It is important to note that there is a narrative which links the three mass presentations in trilogy over the years from 1983 to 1985. Thus, King Kalaloo in the presentation Kalaloo in 1984 is the son of Washerwoman.
I get away with that, although it needs a little
work.
Get away with that.
Okay. As a fashion designer, I agree with Manuel L. Allen when he stated that Minshall
You didn't write that, and then et al. Means et al.
It's Al when he stated that when he states that Minshall trilogy was a groundbreaking departure from what had by then become standard fare in Trinidad and Tobago Carnival costume land. Feathers, beads, sequins, and a mass of colors.
Right.
Vendish and Batiste.
Don't go on yet. What is wrong? What is wrong? Any wrong? Anybody? What is wrong?
Well, the citation is not, it's kind of clumsily inserted.
That is not a citation because she just saying these are the authors, but where did they write it?
Right. Well, she mentioned Miguel et al. as well. That is where she got it from, but she did not.
Oh, she answered where she get it from?
No, I ain't get it from there.
Et al. Means other people.
Other people who quote it, yes.
Manuel and others quoted it. Manuel et al. And they quoted Devenish and Batiste quoted, but where? What book? What page? What
It's
year?
a magazine. Yeah.
So she has to say where they put it there, where they put it. And you know, she could just put Devenish and Batiste and the year there. And down in references, you have to give the whole quote and explain. But you must say, because you could have said Devenish and Batiste 2015.
Must put the year.
Yeah. And then when you come down to say references, you'll say Devenish and Batiste, the name of the book, the name of the year, who produced the book, etc. In other words, I have to find it. I, as the reader, have to go and look for that. And if I can't find it, then you're talking nonsense. So quotations and citations are very important. And I'm telling you, I want to tell all of you, and Miss Rose, if you can't pass, and if you haven't written a good introduction, don't worry to go on to write nothing else, because that is introducing the topic. That is most important. If you can't introduce the topic, it'll be over.
Yes.
Because you have to write the topic, you have to introduce the topic so I could understand, or your supervisor could understand what you are doing. And the reader must understand what you are doing. So if you put Devenish and Batiste could be two kite flyers. I don't know who they are. All right, go ahead. I hope you understand it. I hope you're taking notes. You know,
yeah, I am taking plenty notes. If you can see me, plenty notes. Thus, I am curious. Okay. You going to the objective now?
No, go ahead, finish that sentence.
Thus, I'm curious to investigate if there is fashion design in the Carnival of Trinidad and Tobago, and the part which is played in the costume design industry in Trinidad and Tobago. Are any gaps between two industries in the creation of the mask? Can Peter Minshall's first trilogy, spell it wrong, be considered as having fashion in his costume design?
Beautiful, very good. But
Okay.
before you answer that question, I hope you can you have to explain your reader what you mean by costume design. You did that already?
Yeah, in the old one, when I put it into my final to present it to my supervisor, one of them says I need to take it out. So I did explain what was costume design, what was haute couture, what is fashion design, all these things I did introduce into my thesis.
That supervisor has to be a mad person. Because you can't write about, I'm serious, you can't write about costume design and Peter Minshall without explaining what you mean by costume
design. And I have all those.
Don't let people put things in your paper. You have to have sense to say that if I'm writing on costume design, I must explain to the reader what I mean by costume design. Nobody can know that.
Because I also wrote on a whole paragraph what is atelier, what is haute couture, what is high art.
Well, you have to go into those. You don't have to go into
those.
No?
Okay.
Because those things are not in part of your thesis. As I your thesis, look at the topic of your thesis.
Yes.
Peter Minshall, costume designer. So you have to say what is meant by costume design, how did he become this costume designer, and what is what's true. Look at the top of your topic thesis again. Sorry to tell you this will be I'm concerned. Look at the top of your thesis. Look at it. Look. What is meant? What is fashion design? Look at there for you. Look at there. Fashion design. What is Carnival Masquerade? What is Trinidad and Tobago? And what is Peter Minshall's trilogy? Look at there. So no supervisor can't tell you what to put in. A supervisor has to be a mad person to tell you you don't have to do that because that is your topic. You have to explain what you mean by your team. That's all you're doing. It's a simple thing. You just have to explain what you mean by your team. You explain
Prof,
yeah.
You see the problem we have every year?
Yeah.
The problem we have every year. That is why, but now this COVID thing come and messed us up. It was so important to have the forum we had planned with all of them, because we teach them one thing, and when they supervise them, they totally derail them.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that for a supervisor to watch her topic and say that explain custom design, that means there's a mad woman or a madman.
Because if you go to the one before, if you go to the two before, it have all of that in it. I introduced it from the beginning.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just commenting on what I see here.
Okay.
If I'm looking at is fashion design or custom design? Fashion design and Peter Minshall, I have to explain what my topic is on. And your topic is fashion designer.
Prof, I think because remember Alyssa was one of our early students from last year then. And I suspect the reason why you're not at one with what she's saying, because I did hear you say, but I didn't see this before, you change it up. So what she's probably trying to say is that what you saw before is what you marked and it's not here because if the supervisor took it out. The supervisor took it out after you marked her.
But I am saying also, Alyssa must be strong enough to tell the supervisor.
That's right.
You're talking nonsense. This is what I'm doing.
Yes.
What you're doing, what you have to introduce. All right, why are you talking about architecture? Why are you talking about Donald Trump?
Because it doesn't pertain to my topic.
You ain't doing that? You ain't doing that?
No.
Why are you talking about beauty figure? You ain't doing beauty figure? You ain't talking about lab? Why are you talking about lab then? in an introduction, you have to explain what you are doing. So
Yes.
no supervisor can tell you what to do, because you have to explain what is your theme. And if your theme is fashion design, you have to explain what you mean by fashion design.
Fashion design. Yeah.
You must. Why didn't you explain who's Rowley inside here? Go back tonight and write a page on Rowley. Then, if supervisor could tell you what to write, go back and write a page on Rowley and the budget in your introduction.
Probably not. Just give it tomorrow.
So I can't tell supervisor could tell me what to put inside here. You can only put in an introduction what is your theme. That's introduction means explain to the reader what is your theme.
Yes.
And Ms. Rose, don't take anything from anybody. Just write what is your theme. But you see, you have a way, probably I'm wrong, of changing to suit people. You can't suit people. You're changing and saying, what is your theme? That's all. So nobody can tell you what to put in this theme. In this theme, it is Peter Minshall trilogy. It is Carnival. It is Masquerade. And it is this fashion designer. That's what I'm seeing. And if you don't have that, then you have nothing. You have to put that.
Okay.
You have to explain that in your team. That's all you have to explain. Nobody can. If anybody fail you, I will pass you. So that is your team. Nobody can fail you. Nobody can fail you. Because that is your team. If you change your team, then you have to change all these things.
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, if anybody, if I'm talking nonsense, folks, please tell me, because I may be wrong myself. But I know that when people are doing a piece of research, they explain to the reader in the introduction what is their theme. So that Ms. Beach just now explained Carnival Band, and she explained Children Mass. And you doing this course, you have to explain what's in by this thing already. That's all.
Okay.
So let's go on then. Where you are?
Let's see. Scroll down, press on. We finished this area already, so we're going on to the next. The objective.
Good. Objective, very important. Good.
Right. The objective. The intention of the researcher is to discover if there's fashion design in the Masquerade, costume design in Peter Minshall's first trilogy. At the end of the study, the researcher hopes to discover answer to the following: the existence of fashion design in the masks, the role and function which fashion design played in creating the masks, the comparison of a couture house and Minshall mask camp, the classification of the importance of fashion design elements used in the creation of Minshall masks, such as color, texture, shape, and forms. You got to scroll down. Can't see. Okay. Design concept, design realization, unconventional materials, the future possibility of fashion design and costume design integrating as one in the Carnival of Trinidad and Tobago.
Question, anybody questions? Nobody can question that. You know why? That's your objective. That's your objective. That way you're trying to find out at the end of the study. So that's straightforward, beautiful. And you have it well laid out. You have it A, B, C, D, E, etc.
Okay.
When you write things that make sense, nobody can question that. And that is your objective. So this objective will help you when you're coming to do your research questions, etc. Right? So these will help you to form the research question. But you're keeping this in mind, especially because after you finish introduction, you are going on to do a literature review. That's all?
Yes.
And
yes.
And that literature review you will look for some of these things to say in your literature review. So you think fluent, so your objectives are clear.
Yes.
So don't change that, please. Those are what, unless you want to change your objective. But
No.
your objective.
No. Well, kind of. Okay, let's go to the next.
Anybody want to add anything? Good. And then she got the importance now. Right.
What is the importance of my study? To date, there have been no other comparable studies which seeks to establish a link between the fashion design and costume design, especially as it relates to Minshall, and more specifically his trilogy. Thus, I view my studies as making a valuable contribution to both the fashion industry and costume industry within Trinidad and Tobago. I also propose to classify career positions, roles, and functions of workers within the costume industry so that opportunities will be provided for new career paths. I wish that the current syllabus, supposed to be syllabus at CSEC and CAPE, be expanded to include aspects of Carnival, thus allowing students of theater, arts, fashion, design, and clothing textile the opportunity to explore costume as it relates to fashion.
I don't know if you should put all that because, Mrs. Patrick, I don't know if you should put all that in because
it's not a dissertation.
that you haven't finished now.
No.
It's good, but that may come out when you come to recommendations and so on.
Okay.
After you finish your work and then you want to make some recommendations and so on. But don't put that as an objective because that's a whole study again.
Okay.
I would say that out of that study there might be the possibility might be, you know what I mean? I would write something that besides making that contribution, there's a possibility that it will assist. That's significance. It might assist the costume industry and check and keep into classifying the thing. That's Mr. Patrick. That's a good significance. But I wouldn't put it don't put it to read as an objective because that is a whole study. No, that's a whole new thesis.
Okay.
I mean, I hope you get the point I'm making, yeah?
Oh, yes.
All right. Go ahead then.
Okay, I just scroll down. Where are we? Many persons. Oh, where are we going? Oh, many persons do not know if to love or hate the mask of Peter Minshall. He has been the subject of much criticism over the years. I need to put who said that. The theater of the street aspect of.
If you could say quoting from masqueraders or something, you know. If you get a quote there from somebody criticizing that's
okay. The theater of the street aspect of Carnival Minshall looked into had its nipicizer. Yeah, I was always pronounced it bad. I said nip instead of nasis. Nasia, who claimed misguidedly, I'm getting a little flustered now, who claimed misguidedly that such presentation didn't belong in Carnival and that any production not awashed in brilliant colors contradicts the spirit of Carnival.
That's a beautiful quote. That's a beautiful quote.
Slater did to that.
That's a beautiful quote, but Slater makes no sense.
Yeah, he's very unpredictable.
No, that. You put in Slater there makes no sense. Who is Slater?
Oh,
what page do you read that in?
Oh, so instead of just don't put Slater, put what page and everything. I have it in the citation thing, but I just have to add a little more.
Miss Rose.
Yes, sir, I'm getting it wrong.
Miss Rose, I'm sure you must have learned. You have to learn it.
Yeah, I have to get it in my hand.
A man's name in a paper makes no sense. You have to say Slater, page 5.
Yes.
Slater 2015. Slater 2014, and then in the reference you'll tell us where you'll find it, but you can't put Slater alone by itself makes no sense.
Because you have to read the whole book to find that quote in the sun.
Where will I find Slater? What book?
Yeah.
What page? So when you put them things like Slater, they're going to fail you. They're going to say you don't know anything about research. You're copying things.
So, Professor, this is where you have to now rely on the MLA citation method, right?
Yes.
Correct. And I mean, what I'm trying to tell Ms. Rose, I don't want to make her feel bad.
We don't make me feel bad. I'm learning, so.
After 2 or 3 years, and you put in Slater, People want to read the work again. It tells me that you don't understand this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you put straight up. You know what I tell you? You don't understand this thing.
And Prof, another thing too, for instance, like in your case, where you have several books, it is also instructive and important to state which book, because you can be all over the place looking for whatever Prof. It could be horse's mouth, it could be butler, it could be rituals,
Yes.
So if you're talking about that, say, well, in rituals, is epic work,
Okay.
The seminal work.
If you have passed the introduction, I'm saying, I will tell any supervisor, I don't read nothing else again. I don't read after introduction. I don't read nothing again. I read nothing to waste my time, because if you can't introduce the topic, I read nothing else again. I'm telling you. And no good supervisor is going to read anything else again, because you don't know what. Here, do I tell you? You don't know what you're writing about. You can't introduce a topic. Why should I read on more? Because it means you can't pass. Can't pass nothing. Introduction means you have to introduce the topic to satisfy the reader.
Yes.
So please, all these things have to be corrected. You have to correct all these things.
Yes.
It is hoped.
It is hoped that this paper will provide an insight into the genius of this man who sees maths as spiritual and who is convinced that modern maths should continue to tell his story.
Even that
yes.
Right?
Okay. As a society, the populace needs to learn lessons from our carnival. Hence, the media begins a powerful tool can educate persons by having a series on this person in multiple ways. Multiple ways. You have to scroll down, press on. After multiple ways. Yeah, you have to go up. Again. Yeah, finish there.
Nothing else on the page.
Nothing else?
No.
And therefore, what you're missing there probably, you gave us, you didn't give us a significance of the topic. Give us the importance. The significance can pass, but you give us the objective. But you should tell us somewhere before you close how you plan to do this work.
Right, yes.
How you plan. I plan to do this by interviews, I plan to do it by a sampling, so and so. I plan to do Minshall, or I plan to look at persons who look at Minshall, or I plan to do a survey, I plan to do whatever, something short, nothing long, because you have to explain it more in your methodology. But you can explain us, it could be a quantitative work, a quantitative work, or exploratory work. Tell us something how you plan to do this thing. So your introduction is going to be good. Do what we tell you.
Yes.
Explain the designer thing. How you reach the dimension.
Yes.
And to take out things that you don't know about. But
yes.
Things that you're saying, things that your statements that you're making about Peter Minshall, which you don't know. You have to enter into this piece of work by telling yourself you don't know who is Peter Minshall. You have never met him before. It's the first time and you're researching him. When you're researching people like that, you don't know anything. You may have heard, but you're trying to find out about his design. You don't reach findings before you research. And don't put down things that people you don't know about or what people say. Whatever people say, very good. But you have to put citations.
Yes.
You have to put slate up. You have to put citations, slate up, and so on. And at the end of it all, below there, after multiple ways, you have to put your reference notes. Reference notes meaning where you got each of these citations from, the book, the page number, the year, the producer, the publisher. But you know all these things by now.
Yes.
You got to put all those reference notes, because if you don't have reference notes, then what you have written means absolutely nothing.
So I have a question, and I think this might help others too. Do we do citation after every major topic, like how we did the introduction? Do we do citation or we do all the citations to the end? Need to clarify that.
If you're strong enough, you can put all the citations at the end.
Okay.
But if you're not strong enough, some readers like to see the citation right away because when they want to go and check. When a fellow pick up a book in New Zealand and pick up your book, he wants to find out where you get this one to see how he could do. He wants to add something to it. He want to read something too. He have an idea to do a piece of research too. So he wants to look at it right away. So most people like to put things right away. Or you may put endnotes, you may put some notes at the bottom, etc. What do you call them? Notes at the bottom again? They have a name for that.
Footnotes.
Footnotes.
Some footnotes, etc. Or you can put all your references at the end of your whole paper. But some people like references right after each chapter. I have to check Emily and see that. I think Emily likes the references right
Prof,
after.
I was about to say the MLA is very clear on how you do in-text citations.
Yeah, but
right, we know that.
References.
But where the references is? Are they clear on where to put the references?
I think they are clear after each chapter. I think after each chapter, if you look at Emily, you'll see the references.
Okay.
Professor, I have a question.
Sure.
Right. So that same example where we use imagine a man from New Zealand reading the paper. So the international accolades for Peter Minshall. So should there have been an early reference that this is the man who would have worked on the Barcelona Olympics? This is the man who designed, from the design element, who designed the sky dancers that is part of events and festivals throughout the world now.
Yes.
This is the guy, and then channel it back into, but back home.
Yes.
This is known for. So I guess
this is the man who look at Carnival. This man who look at the world. What do you call the sports? The Olympics.
Olympics. Yeah. So give it more of the meat of the introductory, like the background, his background. When it comes to Peter Minshall, go into depth.
Because I think that a person globally will connect. Oh my gosh, that's the man who did that, and this is where he's from. Okay, let me get more.
He did the it's like 96 Olympics in Atlanta.
Yes. But facts also need citations.
Barcelona, 4 years before that.
Yeah, but facts also need citations. Facts also need citations. So that all we want to know in this chapter is what is fashion design, what is carnival, what is the masquerade, which is Peter Minshall, what is fashion design. Then why am I writing this? The objective, what is the significance of it, and probably how am I going to approach this topic? That's all we want to find out. That's all. And if I'm using a quotation or if I'm saying something, it must have quotation. It must have citation. That's all. And then you'll be good to go.
Okay.
So I would ask that you do it over well. You must do it over.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing it over.
And then bring it back to us. And
yes.
I never tell the class, when you're doing a dissertation, I did a dissertation, everybody has to report to the class. The class will help you. Class will help you. It's called a colloquium. In our university and other universities call it a colloquium. And everybody bring their work to the class and the class helps you. Class say, oh, you're missing this there because the class corrects you. And the class makes it perfect. So don't be ashamed to say, I want to give this in the class. Or you can make a copy and give all the class and then read it and they give you ideas afterwards.
Yes.
So you learn. That's how you learn. Because you can't see everything. You mightn't see everything and the class helps you. But there's some basic, the basic is what you have to have in an introduction. And you can't go on to another part of your dissertation unless you have a good introduction.
I agree.
And introductions are the easiest part of the paper.
Professor Liverpool.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said the significance speaks to who would benefit from the research.
Correct.
You did not give us a useful definition of importance.
Importance? Well, I gotta give you another important. You know, why is your topic an important one? That's all.
Oh, the difference between importance and significance.
Important is important because it is outstanding. Something has to be outstanding to be important. Significance is a little more than important, because significance says, I'm doing this because in 20 years' time, so-and-so will benefit. And I explained to the class last week that many universities just buy dissertation because they want to do it. Universities thrive on dissertation. Universities that get big when a big man does something big, because it makes them important. It makes them, they get more students. When you do your dissertation in Howard University, or you do this in Harvard, which one will pay more? Harvard is going to look for you. Harvard is going to look for a big dissertation to make them look important. You see, so universities buy dissertation sometimes. They pay you to research. Plus that, somebody after 20 years from now will want to read your dissertation. That was significant. They're going to benefit. So buyers benefit, readers benefit, children benefit, universities benefit, all these people benefit. I can't tell you again who will benefit because I don't know what you're writing about. When I know what you're writing about, I could tell you, but you should know. Picture yourself 20 or 30 years from now, somebody reading this dissertation and see how they'll benefit. Or how will your dissertation stand up 20 to 30 years from now? 30 years from now, how will this stand up? For example, 30 years from now, somebody somewhere will want to be happy to read about Minstrel and his design. That's the significance. Somebody somewhere. It's also important there, but somebody will want to find out about that. Now, if you want to merge significance and importance, you can. You can merge both of them together. But it's so much better if you can give an importance and significance. For example, she read something there just now that nobody has written about something about design, etc. That makes it important. Because nobody has written, she just said that, has written about design or something, so I can't remember exact word she used. That makes it important. And when you begin to do your literature review, and you find out that nobody has written about this topic, that makes it more important. That makes it more important. Teams are important. What makes it important also is the team. The Black team, the African team, the team that people don't write about, the team that is missing, something that is missing. So much people write about all kinds of things and it's missing. I wrote an article today in the Express about Rudy Piggott. And I'm saying that you cannot write about QRC unless you write about Rudy Piggott. Because Rudy Piggott, what he meant, the importance of Rudy Piggott, and they missed that. They missed the fact that Rudy was not an ordinary historian. Rudy was a historian who didn't see history among kings and queens, but he saw history among the ordinary players, the ordinary man in the street. So Rudy, as I told him in the article, would tell you about the Amerindian clash by looking at George Bailey. That would make Rudy important. Looking among the plebs and seeing history. Some people don't see history there. Some people only see history in book, and they don't see history on the street. That was really strong point. You see? That's what they give the islands call for, because when he writes, he opened the eyes. He opened the eyes of many people. Don't look for history in book only. Look for history among the plebs, among the man in the street. So you really can on the football field and show you history.
Professor, would that be contemporary history then?
Yes, very, 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 very contemporary. All right, let me take an example. Very, very contemporary. Take the Susu. Take the pyramid. That is rare history. I go back to Yoruba days. The Susu is Yoruba. And who bring it here? Africans bring it here. So before Rudy talk about, if Rudy I tell you about West African society, instead of carrying it back and tell about West African society, Rudy will start you with the Susu. So when you understand the Susu, you take it right back now to Africa. That's how Rudy teaches history. Show you what's happening today. You see, when when you understand Susu, then you understand history. Pyramid is not African. Susu is African.
The term, did you say the term Susu, not whole fiasco, was misappropriated?
Yes.
But it was not a Susu, it was a pyramid. They had different thing altogether.
Two different things. Esusu, it comes from Esusu, which is Yoruba. Esusu, E-S-U-S-U, Esusu. That's how that's how the Yoruba did things. When the Yorubas came here in Trinidad and the Caribbean, what they did is put their resources together. Susu is not only money, you know. Let me tell you what is Susu. I want to build a house. I said, Neil boy, I want to build a house, boy. Neil said, no problem, let me form a Susu now. And Neil bring 5 men to me. And we build the house. We build the house 5 a week. I bring a plumber, this, that, and that. We build the house free for you. And after I build the house for you, for Neil, next week I build a house now for Richard. That is Susu. And next week after we build the house for Christian. That's how Susu is. Susu only money, you know. Susu is pooling the resources. That's what the Yoruba bring here. Pooling the resources wherever we are to help Neil. So to build Neil house, all of it building Neil house together. And when my house gonna build, all of you building my house afterward. That's Susu.
The Jamaicans call the same Susu lend hand.
Lend hand.
Mm-hmm. Lend hand, you know.
Virgin Islands call it partner hand.
Partner hand.
Partner hand.
And when you had me hold on for you last week, Prof, with the class, we talk about Jonas Bath. Yep. And Jonas Bath is Susu he had among himself within the organization to help buy the freedom as well.
Beautiful, man.
They work, you know, they bring the little money, and that was what everybody put up together, and then they form, because you know Muslims don't believe in trusts and all that, they believe in helping one another. Yep. So he brought that Yoruba custom and had this Susu, and you know. So we talk about that.
That's a good topic. That's a nice topic, Miss Susu. That's a nice topic. That's a lovely topic. Susu in Trinidad. That is African. That's Africanism in all its splendor. But you know what Africanism we have in this country and people don't see?
No.
So much Africanism in this country. But if we look at this on scientists and writing science or writing science, you ask to make a statue of him. It wasn't that, it was a down to earth. It was a down to earth fella who does see things. He tell Manning, he said, Mr. Manning, you're deceitful. Manning was from Qatar. He said, you're deceitful. Manning said, Mr. Pickard, what's it mean by that? He said, you know what I mean by that? Eric William can't run through that, you can run it. You're brighter than Eric William? You went classy? Manning didn't walk away. If Eric William can't run Trinidad, you can run it. So you brighter than Eric William? Eric William doesn't even walk away yet. For Rudy. Rudy was Mr. QRC boy. I think we had a nice day. I think we had a nice evening. I think we understand an introduction. So what we have to do is write the introductions now. Send it to me. Send it to Mrs. Patrick. Send it to me. I'll correct it. Send it back to you, etc. And don't be ashamed to write your introduction. And cross it. Let us cross it up. The more we cross it up, the more you learn, you understand, etc. And if I know your topic well, if you send me your topic, I can tell you exactly what your introduction should have. What if you send me I can't tell you off, but if you send me my topic is A, B, C, D, E tonight, by tomorrow I can tell you introduction must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you send me a topic, I can tell you what your introduction should be about. That might save you some time. Once you send me a topic, once you send me a topic for your team, I will tell you what your introduction should have in writing. Once you send it in writing, I will tell you what your introduction should have. Any questions?
Not from me.
Yeah, all right. I think we're okay. Krishan, you okay, Krishan? Sometimes Krishan have some beautiful questions, even though they're part of the class, but you ask some beautiful questions sometimes. Miss Rose, I think you're stronger now.
Yes, I think I'm slightly going to be changing my topic based on what I've learned today. Not change the topic. Focus on the areas I need to focus on based on the topic, fashion, instead of certain other things.
And fix the citation.
Yes. Make sure and pay attention to that.
If you put citations, that might be good.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Alicia, for bringing the introduction.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it shed a light on a lot of things. I know, like, now the topic is very important. Is the topic more or less we are explaining the intro?
Yes.
And citation is
number one.
very important. But yeah. And yeah, thanks, Professor and Dr. Fitzpatrick. Yeah, that good support.
Yeah, thank you.
And we learn from one another.
Yeah.
Learn from one another.
Well, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to go through my introduction with me. What I have learned is certain areas that I missed out, the value part. And as you say, introduce your topic and the citations and the quotations, and it must flow.
What we shall do later on is that we'll collect one or two, if we have donors, we can collect one or two introductions again and go through the class,
I think so, yeah.
I'll look for another introduction next week. What if somebody wants to donate or use or give us their introduction, we can use it. That'd be nice if somebody else give us an introduction for next week. That'd be nice, somebody to give us one. I don't like to use old people. If you get one from one of you, that'd be nice, So if you feel strong enough, if you don't feel strong enough, once you feel you could donate one or give us one, and we learn from you and we correct it. I may be very hard, but I hope I'm not too hard on them people.
No. Yeah, right.
No, sir, you're not too hard.
No, sir.
I will stop right there because we're recording. Because that's not recording.
What?
I have to stop right there because I'm recording. I have to be careful. But I entered the record.
I know that. Because you find I'm very harsh on them. I hope not.
Not at all. It has to be right.
Because Dr. Liverpool, you are not unduly so.
I try to sometimes, but I mean, what I've been finding, and Miss Patrick hit the nail on the head today. Sometimes I tell myself, I'm a poor teacher. But sometimes we do things in class, we talk about things in class, and people come up with the same thing, same thing on the table. Sometimes it worries me sometimes. We say things. So what we have to do, we have to go through the MLA system again. Probably I can do that next week. Probably I might do some of that next week, the MLA system, and go through it and make sure that people understand the MLA system well. Then we can do that.
Prof, I totally agree with you because something happening along the way. I remember we used to do that MLA in class and everybody was at one and suddenly it just gone haywire.
Yeah,
I don't know I don't know where the problem is. I can't put my hand on it.
I will just give you the basics in the MLA system. Once you have the basics, like a book, a journal, quote, That's all. That's one example of each. But once you understand the meaning of it, it becomes very easy. So I'll do that next week. I will take the MLA system and go through just the basics. You know, I'll do that. Plus, if I can get an introduction and the MLA system, I'll be good to go. Because when I see, I don't want to quote something. When I see people quoting or putting citations badly, it worry me badly. Worry me. I say,
Sorry, sir.
Oh, you pass academic writing. How? Or when you see no citation, no citation means that you don't understand. If you want to see how citations are to be used, read C.L.R. James. Read Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James.
Prof, maybe if I am to make a comment on that,
yeah.
Perhaps the work that they might be looking at to use for academic writing is probably not what they should be looking at. So that book that you just referenced, maybe we can use that as the model, rather than whatever is used.
If you take a page from C.L.R. James, you see so many citations. C.L.R. James' strength was citation. Nobody can fault him. Whatever he say, you have 3-4 citations. Whatever he says, whatever he write, you have the proof right for you. Footnotes, endnotes. C.L.R. James, you can't tell him that. Whatever he said about Toussaint, telling me wrong now. He's showing you, quoting from the best, quoting from the commissions, quoting from France. He went all in France and quoting from them. C.L.R. James. And this is what made him so strong. And he quoted on them so much that the University of Western asked him, so God, C.L.R., come and do your dissertation. Come and do your dissertation. And he refused to do this dissertation at UWI. And his answer, he says, the man who wrote the first dissertation, he had no examiner. He said, who will examine me? Lloyd Best said the same thing. He asked Lloyd Best to say, Lloyd Best, come and finish a dissertation. He said, who will mark it? Who will mark it? He said. And he never ended up, but he had his master's in Oxford. But he had a master's degree in Oxford. Nobody asked him no question again. Because to write a dissertation at Oxford, you better be good. You can't afford to make a mistake. When I did my master's at UWI, Professor Lawrence, when Lawrence finds you have one dissertation wrong, you fail you. So go back and come back. If you find one dissertation wrong.
One citation?
Citation. One citation. One citation wrong. You say, go back and come back. You fail you right away.
Yeah, because remember, Prof, UWI was, well, then I don't know what is going on now, but UWI was based on the British model. Yeah. So they were very strict with that, following those rules.
Yeah. You can't have a wrong citation. You can't have that.
Yeah, the British
and
rules.
Then his exams, his exams were, he gets 3 or 4 citations and tell you where it come from. Explain how that come. So that means you have to be reading. Professor Lawrence. All right then, sorry to be so harsh on you.
Why sorry, sir? I'm glad you were harsh on me.
I wasn't harsh.
Get it right this time.
You would like to see my harshness. All right, God bless you all. We give the thanks. Give the thanks, Almighty God, for all thy benefits. All thy benefits. Living and reignest, world without end. Amen. Tomorrow we shall look at musicology tomorrow, and we shall look at what we're looking at. We're looking at the scales from European people on Bostel and the scales on Bostel. Tomorrow is an easy day.
Anybody using diesel vehicles?
Nobody uses the cook.
Nah, diesel to cook.
Where diesel?
I know that. Diesel, the subsidies removed from fuel, and they're allowing private owners to set their rates just like abroad. So you'll see how gas will fluctuate up and down now. because you know these price gouges here. But
you have to, this is the free market at work. You have to allow people to price the goods accordingly to, you know, the expenses. So you see, want red capitalism or pseudo capitalism?
We had it nice, and we don't know how nice we had it. You know,
all the prices gone up.
We had, well, the price, it doesn't seem as if it, well, now, but yeah, when fuel goes up, that could be it. But you know, they carrying up the price anyhow.
Come on, now, be happy. Yes, we can hit them with that now. We have something we can criticize them for. But they were killing me with gas price. Election, put election now. Want the early election.
Try your best. All righty.
God bless them. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I apologize to all you.
Thanks a million, Christian. Hope tomorrow we go smooth also. Hope I won't get so much trouble to get in.
No, man. Tomorrow, yeah, under control.
Okay. Please. God bless.
All right. What happened to you?
I wanted to send him. I wanted to give my heads up for email. I want to send to him.
Just send it to me.
Just send it. All right, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's 19 hours.
Or you can call him on the phone.
Okay, so the boys drop any boxes yet?
No, boy. I told him about it Friday. I told him I wanted to come in Wednesday and deal with some books of people. I'll remind him tomorrow. Actually, I'll remind him tonight so you can carry it in the office tomorrow.
Chris, that's a stress ball you're pelting up and down the place.
Yes, it is.
But you shouldn't have any stress. You're home. Sorry.
No, I don't.
Sorry.
Thanks to the ball. That's why the ball for to take us away.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.